Head coach Eric Musselman. Hutch, please get us started.
Yeah, Coach, I was wondering if you could walk us through when you found out that the game was canceled on Friday and how quickly you were able to get into Alabama mode as far as scouting and film and things like that.
Oh boy. I don't really want to relive that, but we had just finished our prep, however many days that was. As I was walking off the practice floor, Riley Hall said, administration said, don't get on the plane. We're waiting to see what's going to happen with Texas A&M. And then we were boarding the bus, and we were going to fly out of XNA and fly into Houston, which kind of baffled me in itself since we were on our fourth different bus company. Others had canceled as we tried to set that trip up. But we heard everything was fine there. As far as the weather and everything else, although the Houston Rockets canceled their game on Saturday, we were supposed to fly on Friday. And then, just as we were about to take off, because I would have rather waited at the airport than drive out to XNA and then get word, because it was just going to push us back another 40 minutes. So I said, let's just go and we'll find out when we get there. And then we got the phone call literally as bags were being packed onto the bus. And then we tried as hard as we could, but you're realistically get somebody to play you, probably not going to happen in, 24 hours. We tried though. We tried very politely too. We didn't try to do anything other than just make some phone calls. That was all we did. That was it. We just made phone calls in a nice, polite manner.
And how quickly were y'all able to get started on the Alabama prep?
Oh boy. We practiced Saturday, Hutch, and then, took off Sunday. So we had 1 day prep, then we took off, then we came back, today. So, not really an advantage. If we would have found out a little bit, sooner on the A&M game, we could have started a little earlier, but, that's great that we got to practice twice now for A&M and get a full prep in both times for a game that never happened.
Bob.
Hey, Eric. I remember, after the Oklahoma State game, you said that just wasn't Jalen's game, and the coaching staff was pretty much in agreement he shouldn't be in there down the stretch. That's about the only time I think that's happened, unless he fouled out. I guess he fouled out against Auburn, I think, up here. But what have you thought about the way he responded to that game? Because he's played really well since then.
I think he's had a great year. I really do, Bob. I think from a defensive standpoint, loose balls, all those things, I think he's been phenomenal for us. And sometimes you have bad games, and that's just part of basketball. Sometimes as a coach, you have a bad games. Sometimes as a husband, you have a bad day. Sometimes as a dad, you have a bad day. And as a player, he had a bad game and he bounced back. He's always in the gym working on his game. But really, Bob, it's the intangibles that make Jalen, so important to us.
Could you expand on that?
Loose balls, rebounding his position, extra possessions, smart player, all those things I think are really important. Just, other than just, scoring the basketball, even being a player that's being willing to be a decoy in a play, or, setting weak side pairs action to get a teammate a shot, all those things, and being vocal in a timeout as well, and giving feedback and input to his teammates as well as the coaching staff.
And then this game, it's Wednesday night. It's going to be the first top 20 matchup in Walton Arena since 1998. I think that was your first year in Orlando, if I read it right.
Wow.
Just what do you think about that? That's obviously it's been a long time. You know, we were all a lot younger then.
Yeah, I was a lot younger then. I don't know. I'm just worried about, I'm worried about this year and how do we win this game? And Alabama's had, an outstanding year. When we played them the first time, their offense was like a Lamborghini and ours was like a Prius. So, I mean, the elephant in the room from game one, 90, 18, and 15. They made 15 threes. They scored 90 points and we had 18 turnovers. So we obviously have to play a lot better basketball than we did in Tuscaloosa. But I think from being ranked, 2 weeks in a row, moving up in the rankings, the stat you just mentioned, Bob, just about how long it's been, kind of puts things in perspective for probably our staff a little bit as well as the players. And, it's hard to get ranked and it's two really good teams playing. And obviously, you look at Alabama and I think they're as talented as any team in the country. They have, 3 seniors, guys with great experience, and Herb Jones and Petty and Reese, and their entire roster is really, really talented. And they had 2 players test the waters, and Herb Jones and Petty, and both those guys came back and they kind of spearhead this thing for Alabama. Kind of be like us getting Mason and Isaiah back.
Nate?
Yeah, just what the differences you see in yourselves and Alabama since you last played them?
I mean, I think they're really well coached. Coach Oates does a great job. I mentioned their experience. They have great offensive spacing. They have a great drive and kick game. They're a matchup nightmare because of the shooting and the ability to beat people off the bounce. Their players fit their system really, really well. They're a confident team. They're active on both sides of the ball. Everybody always talks about Alabama's offense. Their defense is phenomenal. Again, I mean, I just think you look at both sides of the ball. There is, in my opinion, they're as good as anybody in the entire country.
What about your own team? How do you feel it's different since you last played them, other than obviously Justin Smith being healthy?
Yeah, and I think that's a big part, Nate, for us. But I think we've gotten better as the season's progressed, which is, when you have 3 freshmen that play as many minutes as our freshmen do, you're kind of going to expect that those guys are going to get better. And that's what's happened. I think our freshmen have gained confidence. I think that our 3 freshmen are continuing to understand what we want on both sides of the ball. Understanding second, third, and fourth options on offensively on our sets, and then also understanding, maybe our rotations defensively. They continue to get better at that. And then even, once Justin went out, I think that we've done a really good job of kind of recovering and then taking roles and expanding them to make us a little bit better team.
Thank you.
Curtis?
Hey, Coach, I guess the last time you played Alabama was the last time you lost an SEC game. And I mean, when you think about, where you were at that point and where you are now, first of all, what goes through your mind? And then secondly, do you feel any differently, going into this matchup compared to the first time?
I mean, I think, Curtis, like when you look at our schedule, I mean, the 2 teams that, dominated the game against us were the 2 teams that we played this week. And then we finish the regular season that's on the schedule now. And then we'll find out the makeup game whenever. But the 3 remaining games, you got to go on the road to South Carolina to finish up the seats. We have 3 really, really hard games. And obviously, Coach Oates and the Alabama team has dominated. the SEC regular season, and LSU is as talented and as tough a matchup as we can have as well. So just two really good, teams at home, and then a road game. So, we knew that early in the season conference play, it was tough, and we knew that towards the end it was tough. And, we're a better team, I think, but I also think Alabama's a better team. I really do. I think they've improved. I think they have an excellent coaching staff, and they continue to get better as well. I don't just think that Arkansas is improving. I think that Alabama's improving as well.
And then they did get Jordan Bruner back over the weekend. Just your evaluation of him and the impact he makes being back in the mix.
Yeah, I mean, Bruner's a really good player, obviously a player that we recruited. He can knock down threes. He's a very good rebounder. He's an active player. Another senior to add with, the guys that have been there for 4 years, and Jones, Petty, Reese, and then you throw in a grad transfer in Bruner. That's when you have 4 guys that are that experienced, they got all the pieces to do damage in March. And they've already done damage in our own league.
Scotty.
Hey, Coach, obviously you guys would prefer to play than have games postponed, but do you find the time between games during your layoffs beneficial from a prep standpoint and guys just being locked into the game plan?
Yeah, I mean, I think, Scotty, that, anytime you can, if you try to design game plans around your opponent, then I think the more time that you have, the better. I mean, we all, every coach studies other coaches and in your own sport and other sports. And, at UCLA, when John Wooden was coaching, I mean, they kind of did what they did, and they didn't worry about their opponents. And we do try to, do what we can to try to find something every game that's got its own theme, or to try to find a weakness in a team, although we really haven't found any weaknesses in Alabama. But yes, I do think prep benefits us or helps us more than non-prep. And that might be the same case, with everybody. So yeah, I don't think it hurts us. I do think that the players at this particular time of the year, they don't want long extended practices. But I do think that they're really bought into trying to, pick up any little theme that we have on a particular game.
Y'all typically don't run a lot of post-ups offensively, but Justin had a good bit of success with that against Florida. Was that just like a matchup deal, or has he improved in that area throughout the year, or both?
I think both, and I think our cutting's really good when we post up. So if teams try to double or dig down, I think that we have a pretty good counter game to that. But yes, it was a matchup on that particular night. But I do think, we have a little bit more back to the basket game of late, even if it's in transition and we go 4 out and 1 in at times. But the big key is just not being stagnant and moving without the ball. And teams that load up on the ball, we've had really good success of trying to basket cut and, when people ball watch and over flood the ball side.
Hayden.
Hey, Coach, wanted to ask specifically about Connor, just how important he's going to be Wednesday night defensively. I think he's had at least two or three blocks the past 5 games. And just with those seniors that you mentioned for Alabama and how quick they are and the scoring that they present, just how much of an impact and how important it is to keep him out of foul trouble on Wednesday night.
Yeah, I mean, I think that, the big thing with Alabama's transition game and their ability to play 5 guys out on the perimeter is, like, what's our benefit when Connor's out there? How do we gain the advantage? And those are some of the things that we're trying to talk with our team about and try to continue to make that evolve, what that mismatch potentially could be, or maybe it doesn't be a mismatch from our perspective. And but Connor's got to sprint back, as does Jay Will, and all of our bigs, have got to be runners and sprinters and not joggers and not home run trotters. I mean, we got to get back as fast as we can and eliminate their shots that happen in the first 12 seconds of a shot clock.
Ty.
Coach, Jalen mentioned that during this winning streak that the level of intensity has picked up even more in practice. And I know sometimes when teams go on a run, they start thinking they can get away with not doing the little things. How have you as a coaching staff and just kind of what you've seen from this players just picking it up despite winning 7 straight SEC games?
Yeah, Ty, I think that Jay Tate's right. I mean, I think we have had our best practices over the last 3 weeks. We've had our most intense practices. The buy-in and ability to pick up things and add new plays. We added 4 different offensive sets before Florida, and they picked them up really quickly, and they were able to not only do them on the practice floor, but then carry those sets into the game. I think there's a heightened excitement right now of understanding that we're not in the dog days of a season that this thing's winding down. And again, I don't know how the game's going to go Wednesday or Saturday or the following Tuesday in South Carolina, but I do know that we've practiced really, really hard, and we've practiced extremely focused.
And
Physical.
And kind of on that note, this is a matchup on Wednesday night, the one versus the tied for second team in the SEC. And whether it's message boards, whether it's us talking about on the radio, Bob and Tom writing about it, Mike on TV, how do you keep the guys from watching, listening, and reading that stuff so they can just concentrate on what's ahead?
Yeah, I mean, I think fortunately, I don't think that any of our guys are listening to FM or AM radio. I think they're probably listening to music. I don't think any of them, no offense, to anybody, but I don't think they get the newspaper delivered to their house. So I'm not really worried about it. I mean, I know Twitter world has got its own little, stuff out there. But I think whatever about Alabama, I think I'm probably telling them that they're a great team. They got great talent. They're really well coached. So I think that they understand, the importance. But I don't think any of them are going to call into a call-in show anytime over the next, couple of weeks. I might, but I don't think they will.
Troy.
Yeah, Coach, the last time you played Alabama, you're coming off, a rough loss against LSU and then a 31-point loss to Alabama, but you've constantly said that this team is better, different, and more confident. But how does the team feel going into this rematch against Alabama?
Well, how many did you guys just get Tate today, or just one player?
Yeah.
I mean, they would have to look. We got our butts kicked. We played 2 road games back to back. No excuses about who was injured, who wasn't injured. There's none of that goes on here. We, they played phenomenal. We didn't. They play phenomenal on a lot of nights. And our approach from Wednesday night to Saturday to the last, we've got to have an even keel approach moving forward. We have to play and practice as hard as we can, get ready to play. Players stay on an emotional, even keel. I'll be the guy up and down like a yo-yo. And, that's all we can do, really. I mean, we're playing a great team. We're playing a top-ranked team in the country. If we think we're going to play a A- game and win, I can already tell you the answer to that quiz. We ain't winning. we have to play a great game on Wednesday in order to win the game and give ourselves a chance to even win. And it's going to be the same thing on Saturday.
Thanks, Coach.
Randy?
By the way, Eric, it's 1037 The Buzz. The call-in number is 501-661-1037. It airs
Okay.
from 4 to 7. Okay.
4 to 7.
Yeah.
I'll call you on my way home.
Okay. That just so you know. Momentum and rhythm is so important to a team, and you had a lot of momentum. You had the rhythm coming out of the Florida game, but we know what happened with Texas A&M. Are you worried, or does that even come into play, thinking about having that momentum kind of momentarily stopped and maybe getting a little bit out of rhythm?
Well, I mean, I think a couple things, Randy. Number one, we were jolted. It wasn't just kind of stopped. Like we were ready to play a game.
Right.
I mean, I think everybody can tell by my body language, we weren't excited about having that game or the other one canceled, but we do understand we're playing in a pandemic. Health is the most important thing. We want to make sure everybody, that does get games canceled across the country, that everybody remains healthy. And, but having said that, and I've said it from the get-go, is every game takes on its own identity, its own style, its own rhythm. So yeah, we wish we would have played on Saturday to stay in our normal routine. It didn't happen. We're in a pandemic. I woke up happy today that I get to coach a game right now on Wednesday, and our players get to play a game. And so, I don't think that there can be any excuses, that we didn't play on Saturday. It's none of that. I mean, look, we're ready to get an opportunity to play in our own building. I think any time that there's 3 referees and there's another team in another uniform, that all of us are happy with just the chance to compete.
Bob, follow-up question, please.
Yeah, Eric, I know you can't give specifics, but with this extra time, even this late in the season, are there some things you can add for Alabama? Some new wrinkles?
I mean, I don't think there's that much time to completely alter what you do, Bob. I mean, every game we usually add a new offensive play, and sometimes that play after that game, dissipates and is never part of our play calls again. And sometimes we keep that thing into our play groupings. So I think we can add little things, but I think this late in the year, it's really hard. I mean, we've changed a lot of our pick and roll coverages over the last 7 games, which has really helped us. And we continue to evolve in certain coverages, just little things, Bob. I don't think you can change a whole, style or system, but I think you can change things for short stretches.
And then getting back to Jalen, how much do you think his age and maturity, being a 5th-year guy, helped him not dwell on that Oklahoma State game and bounce back the way he has?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, first of all, he's making an adjustment to a new position. And so he's done an incredible job with that. And he's got great toughness, mental toughness is really good. So I'm not surprised at all, but certainly being a senior and being a player who's been through injuries, rehab and come back, I think he's got great mental toughness. And so it's not a surprise. I mean, I think that's with anybody, whether you're a coach or a player or whatever, like when you lose a game or you have a bad game or you're in a shooting slump, you got to figure out a way to mentally bounce back as quick as you can so it doesn't linger and affect your form.
When you're talking about the elephant in the room, it looks like it froze there. When you're talking about the elephant in the room, did you say that because that's Alabama's mascot, or did you even think about that?
Well, Bob, I think that would be up for you guys to try to determine whether that was planned or not.
Okay, I think it was planned. You got to figure out a way to work a newspaper into one of your pregame talks.
I will.
Okay, get your guys to brainstorm on that.
We're on it.
Okay.
Okay, Coach. Appreciate your
Hey,
time.
Randy,
Thank you very much.
Randy, keep that hotline open between those times, man.
Oh, you may send you the hotline number?
No, I got it all memorized, man. I'm calling you. See ya.